I don't know about the rest of you, but when you take that first puff, it's so relaxing. It's just like, you know, you're about to get an hour minimum of hopefully just uninterrupted relaxation with your cigar time, right? Anyways, happy Sunday to all of you. Here with my weekly top 5, kind of a basic top 5 this week. I have tried in the last few weeks to change it up a little bit, of course, with the Easter holiday. And then I had a couple, one of the top 5s that was done to help support a local lounge, and then another one with the Privada Cigar Club special farm rolled edition. So this week's just kind of a plain Jane, top 5. These are cigars that I had in my humidor, and I'm recommending them for your week of smoking. You should be able to find all of them pretty much in, hopefully, well, I guess now most of them, everybody's pretty much doing like the online thing, whether it's hopefully through your local brick and mortar that's offering some sort of curbside pickup, or some places, depending on where you're at, they still have where you can come in and just grab the cigars and go. A lot of them are just offering online delivery now, and it's interesting, right, to see these different changes and how we all kind of adapt to those things. And I think all of us are in the same boat with kind of getting a little antsy and still have the anxiety floating around, and trying to stay positive, and this is taking a little bit longer, I think, than most people thought that it would initially, or at least I did. And maybe I'm speaking for the rest of you, and it shouldn't be, but it's taken a lot longer than I was thinking it was going to. I was trying to stay optimistic, and it's starting to kind of get to that point of like, okay, ready to get out of this whole thing. So anyways, with all that being said, I did select 5 cigars from my humidor. Again, all of them are pretty much available in, for most of you to be able to order them. There's only one that is a newer release, and it's also a limited edition. So I know sometimes that puts a damper on things, but other times it's kind of fun, like a fun challenge, if you will, so that you could try to find that special limited edition run while it's available. So I will begin with that one as my number 5 this week. It is the Delirium by Soul Cigars. This is the 2020 limited edition, has this nice little footband to let us know that. Delirium, this one is said to be the strongest, kind of like the ass kicker of all the Soul sticks that are out there. There's Nika, by the way. Yeah, talking about you. She's here to say hi to everybody. Well, now she's camera shy. She knows I'm talking about her. So the Delirium, the Soul Delirium Limited Edition 2020, this one is still in collaboration with AJ Fernandez out in beautiful Nicaragua, Esteli. And it's featuring, I love when I read the blends, by the way, and it's like all the tobaccos that I really enjoy, so I get really excited about it. So the blend itself is an Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper, which tells me on a side note that this is gonna be great with coffee, which I have not done yet, by the way. Not yet, but I will soon, probably in the next day or so. So Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper on this one, Connecticut broadleaf on the binder, and then Nicaragua filler. It's actually featuring a ligero grown in Ometep. Ometepe. I never know if it's Ometepe or Ometep. So that beautiful part of Nicaragua where that very special flavorful tobacco is grown, but it's using a ligero. So again, reading just the blend, that's gonna tell me that it's gonna be rich, flavorful, and have a kick to it with that extra little bit of ligero in there. So it is, as I mentioned, supposed to be the strongest of the Soul lineup. It is a fuller bodied, obviously. It has that black pepper spice, nutty and creaminess to it. It is pretty nicely balanced. I have smoked one, just to get a feel for it. I do have a 5-pack of them that was sent to me to sample, so I'm very happy about that. I'm gonna do my next one probably with an espresso, just because of the strength level, try and kind of match those things up, but we'll see what happens with that, because it is a stronger one. It's definitely one that you wanna have something in your stomach before you smoke it. So in fact, all of the cigars this week are, again, without any intention, I just tend to do this. I pick the ones that I plan on smoking myself. They're all a little bit stronger, so this is not a new smoker top 5. I have tried to throw in some of those. I do try to keep the variety there and throw in some lighter body, milder smokes when possible, but to be honest, I don't have a lot of those in my humidor. I do get them sent to me once in a while, and I do try to keep some in the mix, but I don't normally smoke those personally, so I don't have a lot of them as a go-to. But again, The other thing about this week's list that I just realized, all but one are going to fall under, right at or under the $10 range. So this one is coming in at about 10 bucks. And again, it's a limited edition, so don't waste time if you are interested in that one. Number 4 is this one I just lit up. This has been on my lineup before. This is an old one. This is the CAO Brasilia. Love this cigar. I really like that whole line, you know, their world CAO region. It's a great idea. It's fun. It gets you involved. It's like the colorful bands and all that, but really the tobacco itself is good. You know, I like the Brasilia. It has a lot of rich flavors in it. Again, to me, it's not super strong, strength-wise or anything. It is rich in flavor. It does have a beautiful Brazilian wrapper and then Nicaragua on the binder and filler. I did do a full video pairing. This was one of my funner ones when I was doing like some barbecuing and kind of coming up with a full pairing with this one. This has been a few years now, but it's floating around on my YouTube channel, so you can check it out if you want. But just a very flavorful, nice cigar. It has a subtle sweetness that flows in, a little bits of the pepper, has like just a lot of different flavors with it. You do get a little bit of nutmeg and cinnamon. I have noticed that I have a few of these in my humidor that have been there for quite some time, and they have somewhat kind of mellowed a little bit to more of a subtle spice instead of initially. I remember a few years ago when I did it, there was a little bit more of that spice to it. So now it's a little bit more of a subtle spice, but it's still nice and flavorful, just a nice Maduro. Moving on to number 3, this week we have the Hermitage number 1. This was Hammer and Sickle. And that's a brand that I don't have a ton of their stuff. I do have some. I remember that every time I think of Hammer and Sickle, I think of Alabama. My trip I did several years ago now to Muscle Shoals, Alabama. They had a rep there. That was the first time I had heard of Hammer and Sickle. And I remember seeing them during the trade show. They actually had a booth where they were giving away these personalized glass little kind of like coffin-like individual cigar holders, but they were personalized. They were engraving them on the glass, which I thought was just really classy and a really nice gift. I still have mine in my humidor. It says Cigar Vixen. It's really cool. But anyways, this one I like. I've had this particular cigar sitting in my humidor again for quite some time. Beautiful, subtle band. In fact, I am kind of kicking myself because I didn't do full research on the details as to, you know, why the name, I'm looking at it, it says, you know, Hermitage, it says number 1, St. Petersburg, 1725, has like a crown, looks like the crown on the front, but then there's some nice, kind of like very adorned looking designs on the band itself. And then just on the back, it has their little hammer and sickle emblem. But really just a pretty looking cigar, very subtle, has a vintage feel to it. I might go ahead and do a full review on this one later, just because now I'm intrigued to find out a little bit more about the history of this particular stick. This one has an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, and then it tells you that it has Nicaraguan Criollo Ligero from Esteli, Nicaraguan Criollo Ligero Seco and Viso from Jalapa. So again, I'm somebody that appreciates when they give you a lot of detail on the actual tobacco being used. This one in particular is telling you the varietal, which is the Criollo, the region it's grown. So what did I say? Esteli and Jalapa. And then it's also giving you the position of the plant of the tobacco that they're using. So the Ligero, again, being near the very top, spending the most time out on the plant itself, in most cases in the sun, giving you that stronger strength, thickness, and all of those things that a Ligero brings. And then the Seco and the Viso are going to give you, you know, they're different positions on the plant, and then they're going to give you the flavor as well as a lot of the aroma that you get when you smoke a cigar. So I like to know the position. Again, being a total nerd, I find it very interesting. So that's me. Not everybody discloses that, which is interesting. Moving on to number 2. We have my old friend. This is the Antonio Dark Corojo from Joya de Nicaragua. Again, just another kind of a powerhouse. It's a really nice flavor profile. Nika is, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're not getting attention. Come say hi. So Joya de Nicaragua, of course, has their long history of being the oldest factory in Nicaragua. The Antonio was their first powerhouse cigar that was released. In fact, the first on the market altogether. This was before it was cool to make strong cigars. They kind of started that. And then, of course, they came out with this dark Gordo, which I absolutely love. This is a really flavorful stick. Again, on the stronger side of things, but it's just very flavorful. Beautiful offering again. And it is a Nicaraguan puro. It's using a Nicaraguan Corojo Oscuro wrapper. And then again, Nicaraguan on the binder and filler. They don't disclose, what particular region of Nicaragua or what position, nothing like that, just telling you that it's grown, they're using Nicaraguan tobacco in the binder and the filler. They are a company that doesn't usually give out too much information on their blend, so I can respect that, but it's also, again, somebody that's a total nerd. I love knowing all the details when possible. This one's gonna give you, again, it's a fuller bodied. You get a smooth, kind of an oat milk creaminess to it. It's very robust, but it still has that nice spiciness to it. Again, this particular cigar has been in my humidor for quite some time, so it has some age to it as well. And most humidors that you will order from will probably be the same because it's an older cigar, so most likely it's been in there for a while, which is a good thing. And as I mentioned, all of the cigars except for this one here, that's my number one for the week, the rest of them are all $10 and under. In fact, the CAO is like a $6 or $7 stick. And then the Hermitage and the Antonio Dark Corojo, those are also, $7, $8, $9, depending on the vitola and where you buy them, of course. So again, good prices on those for those of us who have, limited resources or a hobby that tends to get into our pocketbook quite often. So number one, we have the Diamond Crown Maximus. This one is the Toro number 4. Beautiful offering from Diamond Crown, very flavorful. Again, this one has an Ecuadorian Ligero Oscuro sun-grown wrapper. So giving you the information about the wrapper itself, again, that sun-grown Ligero, you can tell, it has an extra thickness to it. Sometimes that causes a slower burn depending on how it's blended. Definitely going to give you that kick of flavor. And in this case, it's a nice Oscuro wrapper, so it's a little bit different from the Maximus profile. It has a Dominican binder and filler, again, not specified as to what region, what position, even the varietal that they're using for the filler or the binder on this one. Nice flavor. It has a nice kind of a roasted almond. You get the dark roast coffee note, black pepper, caramel, a little bit of an underlying kind of a wheatiness, like a wheat flour in the background, but just overall really nice. This one will come in right around $13, $14, so still not crazy expensive, but again, the rest of them are going to be at that $10 and under price point, which I think a lot of us are finding handy in these times. And then again, if you want to splurge on your Sunday, maybe treat yourself to a little bit nicer stick, you can definitely pick up a couple of the Diamond Crown Maximus. So very nice. And again, hopefully you guys are taking care of yourselves, not going too crazy, stuck at home. I know a lot of you have chimed in with some wonderful feedback. I do appreciate the comments and to hear what you guys are doing, how you spent your holiday, the plans and just what kinds of cigars you're smoking, what kinds of pairings you're doing. I really appreciate hearing from all of you. And again, I wish you a happy Sunday, a happy week. Stay safe and healthy, and God bless you all.